This is part 7 of Federalist number 9, and I left off and towards the end of the paragraph. I'm just going to repeat it again. So he disagrees with Montesquieu that if we absolutely have to follow Montesquieu's saying, we either have to bring another king for ourselves and start a monarchy, or we're going to have to divide every state we have into 100 pieces because Mr. Montesquieu says a republic will work only in small place. He says if you do that, then you're going to have in every state is going to be divided into 50 or 100 republics, and you'll have so much headache, so much trouble, so much fighting at all times. The wretched nurseries of unceasing discord and miserable objects of universal pity or contempt. Universally, everybody will be having pity and being sick of what we did. Contempt, just being, not being really happy and look down at us. Then he says, some of the writers who have come forward on the other side of the question seem to have been aware of the dilemma and have been bold enough to hint at the division of the larger states as a desirable thing. Such an infatuated policy, such a desperate expedient might, by the multiplication of petty officers, answer the views of men who possess not qualifications to extend their influence beyond the narrow circle of personal intrigue, but it could never promote the greatness or happiness of the people of America. So what he's saying is, some of the people who are taking the side of Montesquieu and citing him, telling him that we should follow him as an example, sometimes the only reason they do that is that they find out maybe they are a nobody in the state of New York or Pennsylvania or Virginia. But they say if we divide this state into 5 or 10 or 20 subdivisions, mini republics, then maybe they can be a president or somebody with a higher office. And it's that look that they have, the love of power, that blinds them and doesn't allow them to think of the long-term future of a republic that is great, covers all this area and it's going to expand this way. Because they know that they don't have the potential of being great leaders of great places. They rather just stick to a small place and be somebody in a small place than really see the glory of America, see the progress of America as a huge republic. So they're thinking about their own well-being only. They are not thinking about future of the United States and how great it can be if it stays united. Then we go to the next paragraph, referring the examination of the principle itself to another place, as has already been mentioned. So he's saying that we've already mentioned to you that we're going to look at the history of confederacies in another video, in another Federalist paper or papers. It will be sufficient to remark here that, in the sense of the author who has been most emphatically quoted upon the occasion, it would only dictate a reduction of the size of the more considerable members of the Union, but would not militate against their being all comprehended in one confederate government. And this is the true question in the discussion of which we are at present interested. So far, the suggestions of Montesquieu from standing in opposition to the general union and states that he explicitly treats of a Confederate Republic as the expedient for extending the sphere of popular government and reconciling the advantages of monarchy with those of republicanism. So here is what Hamilton is going to do. Hamilton says that our opponents, the people who criticize us, only told you about one part of his work. What I am going to do in this Federalist, I'm going to read you a long part of what he said in another part of his work that will kind of agree or will be parallel to what we are trying to do with this new Constitution. But the opponents of the Constitution don't want you to know this, don't want you to read this, don't want you to be aware of this. So he is telling the readers that in another place, in another Federalist, we're going to tell you about the weakness of the confederacies, what we've learned from them. But here, let me tell you what Montesquieu has said in another part of his work, so that to give you the full picture, so that you won't just listen to a part of his work or read a part of his work or be familiar with only a part of his work. So here he is going to list a lot of things in a few paragraphs from the spirit of the laws, just to say that our Constitution, the one that we have recommended to you, is not a bad one, to be honest with you. It's a good one. You have to, if you look at it wisely, if you read it, deliberate on it. Remember, in one of these other Federalists, he said, I want you to deliberate on them. I want you to take your time and read and see for yourself. Be wise. Talk to people who are not one-sided, who are knowledgeable. We promise you that you will accept this Constitution. So that's what he's doing. So I will just wait, and because the part that he's going to read to us or read to the audience from the spirit of the laws is going to be in a few paragraphs, so I might as well just wait and do that in a separate video.